'tis time ye be shipping out, so ye best be moving along now. Or maybe you'd like to stay. Whatever.
Mike Comtech here for another video.
Welcome, sweetheart.
Another video here. Okay, all right. This is what I've completed today. Still got a little ways to go yet. This is everything that was sitting out on the bench from the first video. This is, I did reuse that speaker after all. It was 8 ohms, and that's what I have to have. I'd like to have one that audio amplifier drives that. So that worked out really well that way, and I didn't have to use that bigger speaker. So that's an 8 ohm load there, but I still use that 11 ohm resistor in series with that speaker. And then the full level audio then's driving the MOSFET circuit, which is tucked in there. Sometimes you don't realize how much space you don't have until how compact these are inside. You know, it's just like you have to find a place for everything. So I tucked him underneath there, and I took the arms off, and this is what the main motor sitting all the way down, and the IR sensor for the audio module. And then I've got my SD card in there now. And then there's the USB port, the micro USB. I'm going to attach a cable, and we're going to run it out the back. And I'll just be able to just tuck it in, loop it inside here. So I'll have a little hole. I can just push the cable back when I'm not using it. And if I want to upload any more video, not video, I think I said video in the other clip. Excuse my French, it's not video, it's audio. We're dealing with audio here, not video. Maybe one day we'll put video in here. But then moving along to the other module, this is the relay module. This is actually what's going to be kicking on the motor. And I'll show you the motor here in just a minute. We're going to have to put a PWM speed control on that. It runs way too fast. So let's see here. I will kick him back up here, plug the power back in, and I'll hit that motor. So I'll hook the motor up. Well, he's too fast. So looks like he's been drinking way too much caffeine. He's running way too fast. They were varying the speed on this original board. They were definitely varying the speed to that motor. Of course, that all would have some PWM control on it anyway. So I labeled all the outputs on that board, and I made notation here. That way, if I ever want to reuse this circuit again, I can hook it back up. Like I said, I don't like to waste anything. You never know, you might need that somewhere else. But it's worked out really well so far. Then I ran a DC connection point out the back, and then just with a barrel connector on that, so you can plug that in easily. And then just plug the power into it. Because batteries, there's no way that batteries can deliver 300 milliamps. I mean, this thing on maximum, when this is running the motor, and then you're running the articulated mouth, and then all the audio running here and the relay, it can peak about 300 milliamps. It doesn't stay there totally, but it can peak into that. And so it's like it averages out about 100 and, actually about 220 milliamps, and then it peaks to 300, just depends. And that all depends on the audio track that's running too, you know, and the impulse waves that it's sending out, and then to the MOSFET circuit. So I tucked it in here. That's about the best place I could find. Tuck that right here. And I've already dry fitted everything, so everything still goes back together like it would. So, and then I put a little tie strap on here just temporarily so it would hold that neck in place. Didn't want to strain out that connection and didn't want it all falling out, because with the other half of the body is what really holds all this on here. And then here is the mechanism inside the skull area, and I haven't changed the LEDs yet, but I will do that. We're going to put in some different LEDs. And then this is the motor unit here that runs the mouth part. So I mean, it's very efficiently done, and that is has a pretty short stroke between the two, the stop pin and the start pin. It's but it didn't need to travel very far with the ratio it's got, you know, for him to open his mouth to this full part to that to there. Because if you look at that, if I turn him over, if I pull the mouth all the way down, you can see how short a stroke that is on that motor. How really doesn't have to travel very far at all. But so far it seemed to work out. I've tested it quite a bit, and so far it seemed to work out. And then over here we've got the arms, and then the back part of the skull, and then the legs right here. So once this is all put back together, and then he becomes 3 feet in the air again. And then here's the chest. And then that will, like I said, I've already dry fitted all this together, and all my components are snug in there. They don't hit anything, so that's good. Didn't have to worry about getting the Dremel tool out and doing a bunch of modifications to the internals to make room for something. So it worked out really well. The PWM controller won't be very big, but I am going to have to put a PWM controller on this for sure to slow that down. And the reason why you do use pulse width modulated output speed control is you maintain your torque. If you would just put a resistive load or a rheostat on here and slow that motor down, now you've severely limited your torque. You've limited the current capability. Electric motors get their torque from current. So that's where they get it. You start varying the voltage and bringing that current way down with it, and then the torque just goes right out the window. And that's all you'd need, is to find out that that when this arm tries to move, that he stalls out because he doesn't have enough torque. So I'm hoping the PWM speed control will do the job, and I'm sure they will, because I have used them in the past. And then of course you see them. This is a fixed speed setting here, but the one I'll put in here will be variable. So actually I'll be able to even slow it down even more from what it used to run as in the factory version of it. So, and then I'll probably mount the IR probably somewhere right in here, because I've got enough space between this point right here. It would be somewhere in here, and there's quite a bit of space here. These two big pins here come back over these two receptors here, and then the other half of this slot slides into there, and then that's all reinforced. So there'll be plenty of room for that. And that IR sensor is extremely sensitive. You can just walk up on him from quite a ways away, probably 3, 4, 5 feet probably, and he'll fire right up. The other thing that I had to add to the MOSFET circuit, I did have to make another little modification to this for this particular amplifier that was in this audio module here. I had to put a 100 picofarad capacitor in the positive feed on the audio line coming from the audio output here. So here's our speaker output, and then so on the positive I just spliced into it, and of course put like I said, 100 picofarad capacitor right there. And because apparently I think some of these amplifiers use different class, and I don't know what this one is, but there was apparently some high frequency oscillation that was driving the mouth crazy, because the mouth would just come straight down and stay down. Without putting a scope on it, oscilloscope, I wouldn't see exactly what was going on, but the capacitor then also would uncouple that output. And then of course that's a small enough value that you don't lose any drive coming into the MOSFET. That worked out. It worked out fine. And then I did put that, like I said, I put that 11 ohm resistor. It's tucked way up underneath here it's in shrink wrap or shrink heat shrink tubing, and it's tucked right underneath here and out of the way. So that would tone this speaker down a little bit, and he sounds better when he stands up, and when it's going to be stood up here anyway, it'll sound a lot better.
Welcome. We have been expecting you.
Yeah, he sounds better that way. And of course, once you get the chest cavity on here, that will create a little of more of acoustic box here for that speaker, and that way it'll sound better. It'll even sound a little more bassier than what it does right now. So actually it worked out pretty well, and I was able to fit anything in. I figured I would be able to fit everything in there. You just never know. But that's why you try it. If you didn't try it, then you can always reverse it back the way it was. Don't work without a safety net, my adage. And if you get in big trouble, then, oh, well, you can go back to, or try something different. That's the part of modification, is to try something. Take something where it's never been before, put your own little spin on it. You don't, do whatever you want to do. So anyway, that should do it for this one. We'll have more following on this, and of course we'll have more stuff coming up for Zoltar and some other items coming up on my channel. So as always, thank you for watching my videos. Talk to you all later.